Alright. So now we are going to learn the sampling techniques, which is most important because this is a particular area where all the researcher has to work. Alright. This is the basically technique where the particular researcher has to decide what or like how much sample data has to be collected, the size of the sample. Let's start. This is the first thing, population. You can see this is whole. Alright, in the whole what we have a small one, that is what that is whole white, this whole white, it's called a population. This is universe. Like this is, we have taken the example of India. If you have particular statement so and so in India, that India is becoming your populations, and inside of that you just finding like out of India you want to target only 30 to 40 cities, yeah, maybe the 10 states. So that is what become your sample. Look at it, the subset of our populations. Alright, is it clear? Words sample and population. Alright, the next thing which is we have, why sampling? Why we need a sampling? Why it's become the most important in research? So the simple answer is less cost. Why we are taking the sampling technique? Because it's not possible for us to visit throughout the India. Maybe some guys can have a research over the seas. The cost is going to be increased, and it's not possible for us to visit each and every places to collect the data. Alright, or to have the data collections. What we need to do? We need to have the small terms, which is we call the sampling. So which is, if you are taking a sampling, which is going to be reduce your cost. Second, it's going to reduce your field time. Redundancy will not comes. Redundancy means again and again duplication, the same kind of things will not take the place. Alright, so we can reduce those. If I'll say the Chakan MIDC is there, suppose, and the Telegaon MIDC is there, not necessary to visit both the MIDCs. If the same planter day in Chakan, same company having in Telegaon, the working style will be same, organization pattern will be same. No need to visit both the companies, you would visit only single one, right? Which is going to be reduce your time in the field also. Then accuracy, because we talked about the on average. Because if you are having more data, more data, then what is the problem? If you have huge amount of data, for the calculation, the accuracy will not comes. If you have a just sampling kind of data, and on an average you are going to talk, the accuracy it comes. So can do a better job for the data collections. That is what the samplings. Now, these are the different terminology we use in the sampling. The first one is target population. Which one is the target populations? So while framing your statement, you need to be specify to whom you want to target. Understand? While framing your problem statement, you need to decide which one is your target audience. Means you need to decide your target populations. Second one is sample unit, sampling unit. Now the smallest unit from this particular population, the smallest unit from where you going to be collect your data. Alright, smallest unit. Like for example, we had a discussion about like IT's company, women are working in IT's company. From where you going to first? Maybe near to your house, maybe possible, and we trying to get the data from the smallest one. Directly you could not go to Wipro, so I want to collect the data for so and so. Directly you could not go for the TCS. What do you need to do? You need to go to for the small industries, so that you get little bit confidence. Yes, you can interact many more things with the lower levels, जो small companies के लोग होते हैं. So that is what the sampling. So sample unit is the smallest unit from which the sample can be selected, right? Then sampling frame, the list of all the sampling unit from which sample is drawn, that is called a sampling frame. I think you guys know the probability. जानते हो ना क्या होता है? Chances to get the success or to get the failure, the chances is called a probability. Similar way we work with the sampling techniques also. From where you wanted to get the data, and what is the chances whatever data you are getting, that will be the accurate data, that will be sufficient data to conclude the particular research or to conclude the particular project. That's why I was talking, you guys going to have a project later on. You need to be a target some particular company, organization, where you're going to have a little bit data collections, whether those data is sufficient to conclude the project, whether those data is sufficient to conclude the project. Let's have an example. Again, like suppose we have a HR guys. Now HR has to just have to do the project to evaluate the performance of the employees, है ना? So that they can go for the appraisal. Now the HR has to do those things, but what are the factors required for the HR to judge the performance of any other employees? They need to have certain factors, they need to have certain kind of parameters, yes or no? Then and then the employee, okay, the HR can say, okay, this particular employee having a good performance. So the appraisal will be given to the particular person, means salary increment or promotion, whatever it is. So this is what we call the sampling frame. Is it not possible all the time, like I think sure you guys also seen in industries, all the employees are going to have the promotions? Have you seen ever? No, never. Only the employees who is working properly, who is working in good manner, they are going to be promoted. They are getting the promoted. So that from where you need to choose, or among those employees you need to choose a best one, that is nothing but your sampling frames. Sampling frames. You need to be decide what are the samples I have. Suppose I have 10 samples, and among those samples I need to go the first particular so and so company to collect the data, and that is become my sampling units. The final one is sampling scheme. The method of selecting sampling unit from the sampling frame, it's called a sampling schemes. Later on we will talk about this. So let's have an example of this. A big bazaar. Once again I am going to have an example of big bazaar. There are two big bazaar. One is Hadapsar, another is Kothur. Right? So what I need to do? I need to do the studies of the profitability of the big bazaar in Pune. In Pune only. What is my population? The population now become the Pune. Now in Pune, where I need to go? I need to go the particular big bazaar. Now I need to divide again. There are many more sectors. There are many more clusters. One area which is we have the big bazaar, it may be Hadapsar. Another area Kothur. Another area can be a PCMC. Yes or no? Now in PCMC, Pimpri again you have a big bazaar, Chinchwad again you have a big bazaar. Two big bazaars are there. So just going there and collect the data in both the places, sometimes not possible. And sometimes it's not give you the worth to revisit in Chinchwad and the Pimpri. So what we need to do? We need to choose anyone from the Pimpri Chinchwad. On average we can talk, and that is nothing but your sampling. So where you want to go to collect your data, that is smallest unit, alright, to select, to get data, collect data, that is called your sampling. So let's have, this is basically two types. Mostly these questions comes in exams. How many types of sampling do you have? The first one is which is called a non-probability, and the second one which is called a probability. I think you have some numerical on this. Alright. So non-probability, which is the simple one and easy to access. Nothing, we know everything. There is no matter of chance. There is no matter of chance. We already know everything earlier. Prior we know everything. Alright, easy to convince. Yes, easy. आप easily कहीं भी जा सकते हो. आपका population is quite easily accessible. Easily go to that place, collect your data and get back. Simple. जैसे normally quite simple. I would ask you one simple questions. Question ऐसा है, मतलब problem. Suppose you live in one societies. In that society, 100 people are living. Alright. Now everybody would have their choice. Suppose somebody wanted to make food. Now the food has to be a choice of any other guys. What do you need to do? You need to ask the person, what do you like? What kind of foods you like? Yes or no? Yes, you know. But these 100 are living in your societies. It's become easy to have a communication with these 100 guys. Quite easy, or it's called easy कर लेते हैं. You just wanted to prepare the foods for your family. In family 10 guys are there. Now it's more easy to access them. There is no chance of matter. इसको ये पसंद होगा, इसको वो पसंद होगा. There is no chance of matter because we know our family members. Easily I can access any other persons. I can ask to what you want to have in foods. This is nothing but the non-probability sample, which is easy, quite easy to access it. Suppose I think many of guys are working in industries. Now what project you going to do? The project, whatever you going to take as an MBA degree, as an MBA curriculum, mostly you going to do in your own companies. Yes or no? The reason is because whatever data, the private data is also there, it's become easy to you access. Nobody is going to interview why you are accessing this. Nobody is going to shout you, please don't go there, don't ask this, will not provide this. This complicated things will be reduced if you are working in your industries and you are doing the project in the same industries. Yes or no? But some other guys are coming into picture and that guy wanted to ask something. Become difficult. He is going to calculate something, whether this guy is giving me or not. These kind of questions comes, means the questions comes in terms of probability. So non-probability sampling are the sampling where it's become easy to access the populations or maybe a sample areas. Understand? Alright, mostly we never use this. Alright, this is like snowball sampling. Is again the example of your non-probability, friend of friend. Sometimes we do this. If you have a questionnaire, what do you need to do? Ask a friend. Bhar dena. And again you are giving the 100 of copies to your friend. Ask your friends to fill up. And again that guy is going to ask your friends to fill up. So friend of friend, this friend circle is going to be fill your samplings. But data collected from the friends only. You don't know what is happening in a real world. You have collected of data only from your friend circle. Alright, maybe the same age, maybe the same level, maybe the same status. Right? Alright, so this is kind of sampling comes into the non-probability samplings. Judgmental sampling, again it is simple, non-probability. Simple judgment, you don't have any other options. You know what should be the answer, what should be the judgment. You know prior, before having any doubt on this particular. Automatically you have the judgment, automatically. You know, if you get a good marks in 12th, what are your parents going to do with you? You know, there is no matter for a debate, right? So that is what, like in school nowadays, when your kids go for the schools, Monday in tiffin, so and so thing has to be there. Tuesday in tiffin, so and so things has to be there. Fixed. Your kids is not going to ask parents or mom or dad, I want chicken today. Not possible, because in school they made food charts. Yes or no? And the quota sample. Right. So what is the benefit we have for the non-probability sampling? The first benefit which we have, the cheapest. Easily we can get it data. It's become cheap. Because you no need to go somewhere else. Wherever you working, you are getting data from the same companies. Every day you go for the same. No additional thing you need to put, no additional cost you need to bear. That is become the easy. Right? Your friends coming here for your homes, you no need to go somewhere else, make a friend and then ask them, please birth. We never do that. So that is what the benefit we have, the non-probability sampling, which you guys are going to use in your projects. Right? The probability sampling. Probability sampling, which basically are random sampling. Randomly you are selecting the person. Suppose anybody got like lucky draw? कोई लकी नहीं है इधर. लकी ड्रॉ ऐसे निकाले कुछ है ना, आपको 2 दिन और 3 रातों का वो ऐसे मिल गया है बाहर जाने का, है ना. यू आर गोइंग टू केनिया टू एंजॉय योर लाइफ. सो these guys we call lucky guys. Random selections. Yes or no? So random sampling is basically sampling where the selection of the sample is done by the randomly. Suppose I said we have the 10 places, we have to visit 10 places, but which one you going to visit first? Which one you going to visit first for collect your data? You select random. Okay, I want to go this place. Means what do you become? The sampling technique is becoming random because you have selected it randomly. You have not decided I need to go only this 10 places. It may be anything. It may be anything. It may be any plant also. Alright, like for example, again we have a take the example of that women's in night. Random sampling. She has not decided when I enter, है ना? When I enter, so and so person will be there who is waiting for me. ऐसा होगा क्या? ऐसा नहीं होगा ना? Which is not decided. अगर decided होता है तो that is goes to the non-probability. That is goes to a non-probability because you already have taken the appointments to collect your data. But what is happening? She entered in a particular company. She already taken the appointment from so and so कि I want to come to collect data. But while collecting the data, to whom she is going to meet first, that is the big questions. That person is unknown for her. Yes or no? That person is unknown for her, and that is what she just entered a particular place where the employees are working. She pick randomly some girls or some women to ask them fill this particular questionnaires. Is that random? That kind of thing is happening in the random sampling. Understand? Yes or no? A great example in real life is here ताश के पत्ते. खेलोगे भी ताश? हाँ, ऐसे ही तो खेलोगे ना ताश? Yes or no? क्या होता है? आप सोच के बैठते हो, हाँ इक्का आया, देखो तो गुलाम आ गया. Random? It's nothing is like decided. That is the biggest example of the random sampling. Alright, so where the subject is the matter of probability. Maybe chance is whatever you are thinking, that particular subject, that particular person you are going to meet or may not. Both the case can be possible. Understand? Alright, so this kind of technique we use for the sampling of data. Next one is alright. So these are the different types of like sampling, probability sampling. The first one is simple random sampling, second one is systematic sampling, third one is stratified sampling, and fourth one is multi-stage sampling, and the fifth one is clustering. Alright, let's see one by one. Simple. Let's see, this is my dictionary. You guys have? कहाँ है? घर पे आजकल नहीं मिलती वो. Alright, this is general dictionary. Can I pick any other person? Suppose I said tomorrow we have to have the seminar. Alright, I came into the hall and I asked person, okay, stand up, come. So क्या होगा उसके साथ? वो भाग जाएगा, बुखार आ जाएगा उसको. So that means what? I am going to select random any person. Yes or no? And if we are choosing randomly any other person, that is called your simple random sampling. Look at it. These are the list. I can choose any other person. Look at it. Randomly we are selecting. No sequential things. Alright. So this is what the randoms. So sometime in mathematics we call the random numbers. Sometime in mathematics we call the random numbers. Is a great example. One more example we have. How many are doing the online banking? Online banking. आजकल कुछ आता है ना OTP करके. What is that? One time passwords. Why it comes? It's random. It's generated by random. It doesn't know by the system itself who is generating it. Just it's really does not known by the system who is generating this password. Alright, it just coming, it generated and coming to the mobile or whatever number who is registered. Alright, that is nothing but done by the random numbers. Understand? Random numbers. Your passwords. How will you get your passwords? Online बनाने के लिए आप जाते हो ना बैंकिंग में. So how will you get your passwords? You need to go to a bank, है ना, and the bank guys give you some envelope, and in that envelope we have the passwords. Is that random? Any other characters comes, है ना? Sometimes does not have any meaning also. So it's a random. Yes, it's a randoms. So for those kind of technique or those kind of application or the generation of those kind of application, we need to have these kind of techniques. Understand? Similar way, you can have these kind of techniques for data collections. All right? Okay. Is a great example of Facebook also. Randomly any other person are coming, add as a friend, add as a friend, add as a friend. Even you don't know who is that, but it comes, add as a friend, add as a friend. है ना? Unless until you not ignore it, or you are not going to accept somebody. If you are accepting one, 100 more comes. Right? Okay. Then sample. Systematic sampling. Now how the systematic sampling is going to work out? This is 8, this is 28, this is 48. It is again the random, but in this systematic approach. I selected 8 first, means now the whoever having the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers, they are safe. Because I am using a systematic sampling, means है ना, वो एक सांस भरेंगे अब मेरा नंबर तो आएगा ही नहीं. Because we are using systematic, we go in the ascending or descending order. If I go to ascending order, they are safe. If they go into descending order, they are not safe. Cluster sampling, which is we are talking about, big bazaar. There is many more big bazaars. We need to do the clustering. Look at that cluster sampling. How that is basically working. Suppose this is my MIDC's area. जो circle हुए ना, this is my MIDC's areas. We do have lot of MIDC's area in Pune. Suppose somebody want to visit the manufacturing company for just collecting certain data. Which cluster they supposed to go? Cluster means the part, area, small area. So look at that, section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, section 5. These are my clusters. Understand? So cluster technique we used as a student level. As on student level we use the cluster techniques. So whatever research I am talking about, which going to be your project in the final year of MBA, alright, where you are going to have definitely the cluster sampling. You are not going to visit each and everything. You are going to visit only the small clusters and collecting certain data, making a report and submit it to college. Right? So mostly we use the cluster techniques, which is again random. Okay, next one is, alright, stratified. Stratified means the groups, team. Sometimes we work with the groups. We say when you were in school, so your teachers say, okay, these 4 guys has to go for this place to collect the data. These 4 guys has to go in so and so place to collect your data. Means we are making groups, and in the group we are going to collect the data. So that is what your stratified samplings. Multi-stage sampling, which is basically working on a different stage. First stage I need to collect only this data. Next stage I need to collect more data. Next stage I need to collect more data. Alright, which is normally being used by the doctors or maybe the advocates. Alright, normally like first stage, do disease test. If something is found, go for the this test. If something more found, go for this stage. So this is the way the doctors are working. So simple way it's happening in the research also. In the research, you can also work out stage wise, right? So, but remember, while collecting this data, it may be possible you will get certain errors also. Possible? Whatever you are selecting, maybe randomly you are selecting. Suppose you want to visit the Chakan, MIDC, but suddenly the day when you want to visit, and that day the Chakan MIDC was closed. Error हो गई? It's a wrong thing. We have taken a wrong decision. While or when you taken a wrong decision, that's considered as an error, right? Maybe you said, sir, 95% chance I'll definitely get a data from so and so place. But when you reach that place, suppose you want to ask the 10 questions, but due to the certain time durations or time restrictions, you wouldn't able to ask the 10 questions. You just ask only the 5 to 6 questions. So how much percent? I could say the 60% only. Enough. 40% is still left. Again, it's become what? Error. Because what target you have a target to ask the 10 questions. But how much you have asked? You ask only the 6 questions. So these kind of errors comes, which is we call the errors. Now there are basically 2 types of error. The first error, which is we know the error 1 or type 1 error. What do we call it? Type 1 error. Sometimes we also got the alpha. आपके पेपर का पहला क्वेश्चन alpha. Alright. The second type of problems, which is we call the beta. Right? I told you na null hypothesis. Alright. एक अच्छा चार्ट बनाता हूँ so that you guys can understand. इसमें शायद दिया हो. नहीं इसमें नहीं दिया. कुछ है क्या पेन पेंसिल? Yes. I'll make it out here. wait. All right, this is null alternative, this is null alternative. These kind of hypothesis we have. Okay, now suppose simple मैं बोलता हूँ या इसको और मैं करेक्शन कर देता हूँ और जल्दी समझ में आ जाएगा. दिस इज एक्सेप्ट एंड दिस इज रिजेक्ट. ज़्यादा समझ पाओगे आप. All right. Now this is, I said, the null hypothesis. Suppose you have a certain problem statements, and it is proof. You have the problem statements and you have proof your problem statement means you have proof your hypothesis is true. What I am talking about? Your hypothesis become true. That means a null hypothesis. And if I'll say this is true, that means what? The null hypothesis is there and is going to be accepted. Means your problem statement being accepted by the any other government organization or maybe the research centers, and it is proof, you have already proved your null hypothesis. If it is true and it has to be accepted. But socho, the null hypothesis become true. Null hypothesis is true, है ना? But it has been rejected. It has been rejected. गलत है ना? We are saying